Alright guys, I want to talk to you for a little bit about something that really gets under my skin, and that is far left and how anti-gun they are, and the statements they make, and they twist things and just do whatever they can to try to tear down law-abiding citizens that own firearms. Now here's the thing, not all liberals are anti-gun. I have a lot of subscribers who I've talked to that are liberal, and they like guns, have a permit, whatever, carry guns, and things like that. But there is a big element of the liberal community that is totally against the guns and against our freedoms. And that's what it is, because it's our freedom here in the United States, the right to keep and bear arms. And that is such an awesome thing that we have in the United States of America. It's one of the cornerstones of our Constitution. And for these people that would try to trash the Constitution and walk all over it is just absurd. And I don't understand where they're coming from. Now, I wrote down some notes here about a few things I want to talk about. I wish I could show you a couple of these clips that I'm going to be speaking about, but I can't because of copyright infringement on my video. So I wrote them down, and I'll talk to you about what was said. Now this is from a guy named Bill Maher. I'm sure a lot of you know him. This is one of the most anti-gun liberals that there is, along with the media. The majority of the media on television is anti-gun, and they will twist things. Let me give you an example of how the media treats guns and gun issues. Now, in Ohio, when they were going to implement the concealed carry law, some years back, I don't know, it's been about 8 years or so, the news started out with statements such as this: people will be allowed to carry hidden guns in Ohio. That's how the news started. Now, doesn't that sound really evil? People will be allowed to walk around in public with hidden guns. That's what the news media was saying on television. When it's the total opposite of evil. It's a right for people to carry firearms. It's already in the Constitution, and now we have to pay a fee for it, if you're a resident of Ohio, to bear arms. And it's law-abiding citizens. There is a background check. You do have to go through the sheriff's department, and you do have to have training. But the news media said people will be allowed to carry hidden guns in public. Just a statement, just like that, which twists it, which is like twisting it around and making it really like an untruth. Because people, viewers, older people, older women, people that don't know about this were thinking that Ohio just made a law that says, okay, now you can just carry concealed weapons, and that's the law, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you've done, and that is totally not the case. So the media is always going to be against guns. I do not know why it is. There are so many gun owners in the United States. We are the overwhelming majority. And yet the media that comes into your home and all these left-wingers will want to do what they can to destroy it. Now, I'm going to tell you some about what Bill Maher said, and we're going to discuss it. This is what I seen a video, and he was saying. It says, the next time someone attacks President Obama about being unfriendly to business, one industry has to stand up and thank him as the best friend they ever had. America's gun makers. This is the part that gets me. Over the past 4 years, fear of a black president has made gun sales shoot through the roof. Now see, a statement like that, he's just a total liar. A statement like that has no truth, no validity to it whatsoever. Yes, gun sales have went up through the roof, and I don't think that's a bad thing. But here is the reason why. It has nothing to do with the fact that he is a black president. The fact of the matter is, it's Obama's track record with guns, what he's done in the past. You know a person by their track records. You know someone by what they've done in the past. That's why they do background checks when you go to get a gun. Because if you see that he's been a criminal or he has a felony, or in my state and many others, one little domestic violence misdemeanor and you can't have a gun, you know that person by their past. So we're judging Obama by his track record and how he's always stood as far as the gun issues go. And his anti-gun agenda. And he does have it. Now, right now is not a good time for him to try implementing new off-the-track laws and different things restricting guns, because he wants to win this election. He knows that the overwhelming majority in America likes the freedom of having guns and to be able to carry guns and to protect themselves and their families, which is just common sense to me. You have a right to live, first and foremost. You have a right to live and to survive. You have a right to not let somebody on the street or some thug or anyone that would want to do you harm or rob you and pull a weapon on you, whether it be a knife, a gun, a baseball bat, anything that can cause serious bodily harm or death. You have a right to protect yourself against that. They are committing a felony. The cops will show up after the crime has been committed and take a report. The police report crime. Very seldom do the police get to stop crime, because by the time they're called and they get there, the crime's already done, it's already been committed. Then he goes on to say, you have to save some blame for the liberal politicians who surrendered in the fight for sensible gun laws. Well, Bill Maher, I got a statement to make to you. What criminal has ever obeyed the law? What laws or sensible gun laws are going to be enacted that the criminal on the street is going to change his ways, somehow miraculously change his ways overnight, because Congress added another law restricting only the law-abiding citizens that obey the law? Would you like to explain to me how that is going to, in any way, shape, or form, help the element of crime in this country and in these big cities like Chicago? And, Illinois is one of the most anti-gun states in this country. There is no way whatsoever, as of right now, for you to get any kind of carry concealed permit in Illinois. So what I want you to do is get on your computer and look up the crime from like a year back all the way till now in Chicago, and you tell me if all that anti-gun is really working there. All it is doing is stopping a legal citizen from defending his life, or a woman to defend herself from being raped, robbed, murdered. Meanwhile, the criminals still do whatever they want to do, and it's evident because the police reports are there. You can go and read them all day long. Now, even California, which I believe is a shall or may issue, but it's still very hard to get a permit in California. But even California does have a shall issue, but good luck on getting it if you can't prove as to a reason why you need to carry a gun. And I think that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. You can go in and make a claim that you carry large amounts of money for your business and different things and try to get a permit, but isn't your life even more valuable than the money that you would be carrying? I don't care if it's $1 million. Wouldn't your life be as valuable as that money? So why would you give preference to someone who wants to carry a gun because they carry large sums of money over someone that just wants to protect their own life or their children? How much are your children's lives worth? It's just common sense, people. I'm just putting common sense out there. Some of the cities in California still to this day have the highest crime rate in the United States. You can go on your computer and you can just you can look up the top 10 uh, worst cities for crime in the United States, and it'll pull up the cities and let you read the stats in them. So California's anti-gun agenda has not worked thus far. So when Bill Maher speaks about politicians pushing their agenda of the so-called sensible gun laws, all Bill Maher is really saying is he wants to restrict law-abiding citizens of their rights, further restriction. Because that's really the only thing that they can do is put restrictions on gun owners every so many years until you just whittle the gun laws down until you have almost nothing left. That would be the only way that they could go about doing something like that. And why does Bill Maher think that the law-abiding citizens should be restricted with the sensible gun law clause that doesn't even make any kind of sense whatsoever? The things that they want to ban off guns, they want to ban items off guns that are a visual, like no pistol grip on a shotgun. It affects nothing to do with the way the shotgun operates. It's only a visual, something you see. It has no hindrance in how many times it can fire, how many it can hold, how fast it can shoot, or how good you can aim. It's only just visual things, a heat shield. Stupidest law I've ever heard. Back when the heat shield was banned off of a gun, you couldn't have a heat shield on a gun. It's a piece of metal that has holes drilled into it. Look it up on Google Images and you'll see what it is if you don't know. Little things like that that have no effect whatsoever on guns. It's something to put down on paperwork, and what it does is it appeases the far left liberals who know nothing about guns. They think that something is being done when in reality nothing at all has changed as far as the firearm is concerned. It's only things that hinder the appearance of the gun. That's all it is. The gun still operates, functions, everything the same, like I said. The far left is 100% for abortion, legalizing drugs. Now it's no longer just marijuana. Most of the far left now want to legalize many other drugs as well, and gay marriage. Yeah, I said that. Yeah, they want to legalize gay marriage. Marriage is a term that means one man, one woman, nothing else. There is no such thing as gay marriage. But when it comes to your right to protect you and your family, that's where they want the line to be drawn. They feel that the thug on the street should have an advantage over you, and you should just cower down and give up what you have, and give up anything that you may have in your home, even as far as to give up your life to that person before they feel you should have a right to arm yourself. You see, if a woman is getting raped, I feel best like Ted Nugent said it. He said he would rather her shoot him on the spot and get it over with than to have her report a crime later, and even if the guy does get caught, him return back to society years later. That's the way I feel. If a woman is going to get raped, I think she should be able to pull out a revolver and shoot that guy 6 times in the chest and let him lay there flat on the ground until the ambulance comes and scrapes him up. Anybody think I'm wrong about that statement? Another thing I want to address is, why does Bill Maher never speak about the elements in this country that cause crime and used guns for evil? He never discusses that. He attacks law-abiding citizens. He makes them out to be hillbillies. He calls them names like Earl and different things like that. And he calls them gun nuts. Well, what has these gun nuts ever did wrong? If their guns are for killing and menacing and evil, then their guns must be broken. Bill Maher, why don't you deal with the criminal element in society, in these big cities that cause all this crime? Why don't you start talking about that and making fun of them? I don't think you'll ever do that, because that's not your agenda. Your only agenda is to restrict the law-abiding citizens. Most of these people, like Bill Maher, I believe, has never even so much as handled a gun in their life. I don't believe they've ever went out and learned to shoot, had fun with the shooting sports, shot targets, and different things like that, maybe he would get a better idea of why we like guns so much. For me, the guns I have, it is not all about using them for self-defense. It's sport shooting. I rarely hunt anymore, but it was hunting before, and going out and having fun at the range. Why can't he see this? He knows nothing about guns but what he sees on maybe movies and things like that, and that's just not right. It seems to me like people like Bill Maher and others, and there are so many celebrities, politicians that are like-minded like him, they are more for the criminal element than they are for the average citizen. It should in no way make Bill Maher scared, like it does, that a law-abiding citizen carries his gun to protect himself and his family if he has cause to. I don't understand why Bill Maher is so afraid of the fact that someone carries a gun for protection when he knows just as well as everyone else that there are people out there that carry and use guns for evil and to harm others. A gun is like anything else. It can be used for good, and it can be used for bad. You can own guns and go to the range and shoot and have a good time, teach your children how to shoot, and go have a day with the family and have a great time. Or a gun can be used for bad. And it's the same thing with almost anything else. A knife, a vehicle. You could run someone over with your vehicle and do just as much harm to them as you could with a gun. We have to start dealing with the elements in society that are causing the crime. It's not the so-called gun nuts. It's not Ted Nugent. It's not the people that believe in the right to keep and bear arms. It is the criminal element in this society. When will Bill Maher ever wake up and realize that the guns aren't the problem? It's the person that's holding that gun. It's the mind of the person that's holding that gun and what he does with it. A gun is an inanimate object. It can sit on the table and it'll just lay there. It can't do anything to anyone. But see, Bill Maher will never talk about the people that cause all the crime with guns and use these guns for robberies, murders, rapes. He doesn't want to address that. He wants to lay all the blame on the gun. I will say it like so many other people have. If guns were outlawed, only outlaws would have guns. My advice to Bill Maher is, if you're so anti-gun, why don't you go live in a country where the laws are much different, where citizens are pretty much near 100% restricted to firearms. You know why he would never do that? Because he would never gain the wealth and the things that he has in this country. You see, he wants that part of it. He wants the wealth and the fame and everything else he gets from that, but he doesn't believe that I should use my constitutional rights and be able to keep and bear arms. If he really is that against it, why doesn't he stand up and show everyone and move to another country and just get out of here and go live where there is no guns? In conclusion, I'd like to say there is a lot of things that have changed in our society, and there are a lot of things that have created problems the way that we have it now. Children being born into single-parent families, having no father at home, men having multiple children with different women. Just a basic decline in morals and a decline of all these things in the United States. But I can tell you this: guns are not what has made society decline. It's the people themselves that have made society decline. Guns are not evil. People can be evil. And those evil people will use guns for the wrong reasons. Those are what we need to deal with, not the guns that I have in my house. They don't do anything wrong. They sit there. They don't go off by themselves. It's the people that we need to take care of, not the guns. All right, everyone. This is Humans for Targets, and I'm out.